Welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. With over 20 years of real estate experience and selling over 150 homes a year, Laura Sanders is the #1 RE/MAX agent in the state of Florida for 2021. Join us each week as we discuss how to make money through buying and flipping homes, to renting versus selling, and everything in between. To join the conversation, call in live 888-994-4995, Studio A.
Every week we talk about something that, will help you to make some money, save some money, and try to navigate the real estate world, or really the business world too. It's not just real estate. And today I have Dawn with me, and we are going to talk about something that most people never think about, and I call it condo pitfalls. Do you know what that is, Dawn?
I don't know really what it is, but I remember looking to buy my daughter's condo last year, and everything had to be approved by the HOA, and then they had certain insurance and certain documents, and it became overly complicated.
Yeah, that's the easy part.
All right, so tell me, what are some condo pitfalls?
Condo pitfalls. So, number one, the reserves. Do you know how much should be in a reserve for a condo in order to make sure that it's going to get financed?
No idea.
Okay, so condos need to have at least 10% in order to be able to put down a minimum of, if you're a first-time home buyer, 3 or 5%. And otherwise, if it doesn't have that 10% in reserves, then you have to put down 25%.
So the condo itself, the building, has to have that in reserves before I could go buy the condo?
You can buy it, but you have to put down 25%.
If there's less than
10% in reserve, yep.
10% in reserve from what?
So what they collect in maintenance. They'll take however many units, what the maintenance is, and then they'll figure out from there what the reserves are. So even like typically the presidents of the buildings, they'll tell people, oh, no, we have reserves, it's good, that kind of thing. So with that being said, that's really the biggest problem that we have right now, is that they really don't have the reserves that they need.
Because maintenance, right? And after everything that happened in Miami Beach and all the buildings that are older.
That's even different. Because now they're making people they're actually, if you're more than 2 stories, they're changing the requirements on that, and that's becoming federal government. So that's separate from the 10% reserves of what we're talking about. The 10% reserve things is not something new since Surfside, just so you know. And most buyers don't know that, and most realtors don't know it. So what's funny is you're a first-time home buyer, right? You call up a realtor, and you say to the realtor, hey, I want to buy a condo. What do? As a realtor, you go showing them condos, right? But what happens is most listing agents don't list the budget on the listing. So now I'm an agent. If I don't know what I'm doing, I'm showing them with no budget. And then the buyer only has, first thing I would ask a buyer is how much money you have. Because besides your down payment of 3% or 5% or 10% or 15 or 20%, right? You still need your closing costs too on top of it. So when closing costs are somewhere around 4 to 4.5%, take or give, of the purchase price, you now have 25% that you need, and then you also need another 4.5%.
So here I am, a first-time homeowner, and I want to buy a condo. And it's hard to come up with your down payment anyway. Right. So your minimum of 10% if they have the reserves. If they don't?
No. The reserves need to be 10%. Their minimum first-time home buyer, depending upon their credit, and that's where this all becomes a little bit like Japanese. You're like talking another language, right? They need at least 3% to buy a condo if they're a first-time home buyer, which doesn't mean first time like never bought a home, just means they haven't owned a home in the last 3 years.
See, that's the other thing people don't realize is you can re-qualify, right? As a first-time homeowner, if you haven't bought a house, if your name hasn't been on the title or owned it, right?
Right, within 3 years, yeah. So like give you an example, I was on an appointment the other day. 2 brothers and a sister own a condo together, right? They inherited it from the mother. Right. They live together. I was looking to see if we could put like one of the brothers in a first-time home buyer situation. We can't, even though he never bought that home, but he inherited it and he's lived there and his name is on it. His name would have to be removed from the deed for 3 years before he could become a first-time home buyer. So I guess the purpose of all this is, and having these conversations and getting on the radio to talk about this, is because we want to educate people, because people go out there trying to buy stuff, and the last thing I want you to do is to try to go out and to buy something, and then you put money on for an inspection and for an appraisal, and then it comes back, oh, this isn't even going to work. So
that's what happened with my daughter, right? Because she was going in as the new program they had is first responders, a teacher. They
Which they have no more money for that.
Right, the Hometown Heroes program,
Right.
which looked great, and it was brand new. So we went and we looked at that, but by the time they looked at her credit, which was good, and she put down this much money, they weren't going to match exactly what they said they were matching in the newspaper. It was up to a certain
Right,
amount.
it's up to 5% of the sales price. So if you are buying a $300,000 condo, it would have been basically 5% of the 300. So it was up to.
And it was up to, so and that would cover that, but then they needed, because she didn't have whatever she didn't have, she needed that interest on top of it.
Right.
And then they looked at the condo reserves, and then she had to redo it, and it was crazy.
So the first step is to first hire a realtor that knows what the heck they're doing, right? And that is to say, I have X dollars to work with. So like the other day, I get an offer on one of my listings for FHA, a condo. People, the FHA spot approvals, that's not happening anymore. That is not happening anymore.
So what's the best way for people to get into a property right now?
So-
Condos, or are we really better looking at a smaller single-family home?
Well, you know, here's the thing. There's actually a program out there right now that actually will allow people with certain incomes in certain areas to buy as a first-time home buyer with as little as 3 or 5% down. The interest rate is somewhere between 4.875 and 6. It depends, but there is that 4.875. I can definitely connect you with that program in order to make this happen. It is amazing. I have had realtors that this was the only obstacle, only way for their clients to qualify. And the best part about it is that there's no mortgage insurance. So you're getting a rate that doesn't even exist in the real world, because this is a special program and not everyone's going to qualify for this
What
program.
do you need to qualify?
So it's going to be individualized. I wish we could actually get on the phone the guy that does this program. We're going to go to a commercial. We're going to call him and see if we can get him to get on the phone, and he can tell us about this program, because it's pretty damn awesome.
All right, let's do it.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Take a look at one of our awesome sponsors.
Whether you're buying, selling, refinancing, or building your dream home, you have a lot riding on your loan specialist. Max Fish, a top 1% mortgage loan officer in the nation, will give you a same-day qualifying quote. Max Fish is committed to providing his customers with mortgage services that exceed their expectations. Ensuring that you make the right choice for you and your family is his ultimate goal. Contact Max Fish today at 954-729-6933 or max.fisch@nwmcorp.net.
You have been watching Making Money with Laura. For more information, contact Laura Sanders at 954-650-0827 or visit her website at lauraess.com. And now back to the show.
And welcome back. We are here on Making Money with Laura Sanders, and Laura is in the process of getting in touch with her contact to talk about this great program. But while she's doing that, I really wanted to share what some of the great things that Laura does for her clients, which we don't often get to talk about, which makes Laura, what are you, the #1 realtor in where? Florida?
Okay, so
Because your numbers are insane, and you go above and beyond what any realtor does. I mean, we know people whose houses have been on the market for months,
yeah.
almost a year, maybe a year.
It's funny. So somebody today had sent me an address of somebody that's been on the market for almost 300 days. And I actually like pulled up the address and I was like, well, I hope they call me, because I got really excited and I was like, oh my God, I could sell this. But not the way that it is.
So what do you look to do? And I know you've got this 0% second mortgage that
And
you
not everybody
loan
needs
people
that
the
money.
money if they need it.
Yeah, they don't all need that money, right? But what's really, really good about I just have this like crazy little knack that, and it's funny, like when the photographer goes and he goes, Laura Sanders has been here. But you know, I enjoy taking something that's a little less desirable, you know, because we all have, like I still have an ornate bathroom. And I know that when it's time to sell, like, and we all do it, we fix stuff up when it's time to sell it. We live with that ornate, we live with that stuff that we're like, I really don't like this. But that's like the best thing about that. But going back, the condo, right, and the program that we were talking about as we digress, because we could talk about what we do to get people's homes fixed and what it looks like when it's done.
But I want people to know what makes you stand out, because you do so much for our community, and you talk about your hosts, your guests, and your sponsors, and you give so much light onto what they do. Yeah. But really, we want people to know what Laura does. Like, what makes you so stand out?
You know, it's just funny, too. You know, I had a closing today, and one of my employees who I pay, which most realtors don't pay anybody, and I pay multiple employees to help me to make sure that your transaction is just impeccable. So we have Rich Campanella calling in from City National Bank, and City National Bank has a program that I have never heard about till I talked to Rich, and I just begged Rich to call in. So, hi, Rich.
Hey, how you doing?
I know this was like really last minute. I just sprung this on you, but I was just talking about Condo Pitfalls, and I was telling Dawn here over at the radio that we have this amazing, well, you have this amazing program that I just keep telling everybody about. I feel like it's the most amazing program I've ever heard, and this is good for that low-income buyer, and actually they raise the income. So could you tell us a little more about that?
Sure. So it is an income-driven, as you said. It's first-time home buyers, and a first-time home buyer is somebody who's considered to have not owned a house in the past 3 years. The down payment for the program is 3%. There's no mortgage insurance. They're very flexible with condos, and depending what program you fall into, where your income limits are, it could be either a 3.5% rate or 4.875, and they give you up to $5,000 towards closing costs.
Now, I know we were talking about another deal, and you said that they wouldn't get closing costs. Why was that different on that deal?
So in that deal, they're changing the program a little bit, where they're going to have some areas that are going to be unlimited on the income. They still have to be first-time home buyers, but there's some areas that up-and-coming areas will let us lend a little bit more. So that's something that's kind of a case by case. So that's going to be coming out in the next week or two, and I'll have more the actual guidelines in that program then.
And is the interest rate a little bit higher on that one?
Yeah, the interest rate on that one's going to be between 5.875 and 6%. These are all no points and no mortgage insurance.
But that first program to be that low,
but even that's low, 6%.
It's lower than
which is
right
like somebody with like $100,000 income, right?
Yeah, the incomes, it's good for Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach. The incomes are different for each area and each program. So that's something that's kind of a case by case. Call me and we can walk through that. It's a great program. It's the best program on the market right now.
And then also, this is also not a Freddie or Fannie product. So with that being said, then what's really great about this is that some of these condos, even though they're like defying the federal government, that don't have flood insurance, then this is something really great that you can still get a mortgage, even though the condo is not carrying flood insurance, and you can go ahead and get your own flood insurance, right?
Correct. Again, those are case by cases, but yes, we're much more flexible on the condos with this program. It's a portfolio.
So like if I was, and I know you have your son helping you with this program, I mean, if I was him, I'd be calling every single realtor that has a listing in all these buildings.
He does. Yeah, he's doing he's doing a lot of that right now. So it's the biggest thing with this program is convincing people that's for real.
That it's what?
That it's a real program. People just can't believe the rates.
But when they hear it from Laura Sanders,
it's a given,
you
right?
want to know what the catch
No, I had a
is.
realtor, like he was literally like, so he tells me, well, my client's going with Bank of America. I said, so let me get this straight. I said this to the realtor, like, I'm sorry, I just can't help myself sometimes. I was like, so let me get this straight. So your client's going to go with Bank of America, who's in the end not even going to get this mortgage approved. They want to pay 7.5% interest. They want to get denied in the end because they don't have flood insurance, and they don't want to have 4.875 mortgage. They want to pay 7.5, and they want to put down 25%. Okay, if you're a first-time home buyer, and
Yeah.
this realtor's client was, and he kept saying, but he was referred by. I said, but again, I get who they were referred by, but you're trying to. It's not like you're trying to get him to go to somebody that's apples to apples. This is like apples to like pineapple.
Because this is an unbelievable opportunity. I'm thinking about our crew and people that are looking to be first-time homeowners and what that looks like for them. And the interest rates are crazy and qualifying, but this program makes it a no-brainer. The interest rates make it workable.
I'm telling you, I've never heard anything like
between
this.
the interest rate and the no.
And I just feel like this is something that we have to get out to the public.
Absolutely.
It's just unbelievable. And I can't believe people don't believe it. Like these realtors, like, this is crazy.
And this works mostly with the condos. What about a single family home?
Yep, works for single family condos or townhouses.
Same thing. And what do you need to make to qualify? What's your income?
The income limits are different for each county, so just call us and get them. They're changing. They just increased them recently.
So say we're looking at
the
Palm
different
Beach
programs.
County. So if we're looking at Palm Beach County, say for a townhouse, I'm thinking of our crew here in the studio, and a lot of them are living home. A lot of them are looking to maybe branch out on their own, but everything that you hear in the media says they can't. So they don't even try because, right? Why would you try? Because you're only going to think you're going to hear no. But maybe you're not going to hear no with this.
No, this is an amazing program. So Rich, what's the best way for people to reach out to you to get a little more information, to really see if this is something that's a good fit for them?
Yeah.
And it does fit a lot of people. And I'm talking about, Rich, we're even talking about people that are in their 70s that are reaching out to you, right?
Exactly. Yep. Again, if they haven't owned a house in the past 3 years, they're considered a first-time home buyer.
And credit score has
you
to
can
be
reach me at
depend on the county?
954-647-0106.
954-647-0106.
Say it again, Rich.
06.
954-647-0106.
If you haven't owned a house in
the
3
last 2
years,
years,
first-time homeowner.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about so many people right now
there's
that
all
I know.
different. So it's going to be different for every single person. There's going to be, but the good thing is what we're looking at is under 6% interest, 6 or under. There's going to be different interest rates dependent upon the location. So it could be different pockets in different areas. Everywhere qualifies, right, Rich, in the Tri-County area.
Correct.
But we couldn't go to like Stewart or Port St. Lucie.
Right.
We'd have to stay in Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach.
Okay. Easy enough.
You got it.
So if you are looking at this program and you want a little bit more information, give me a call too. I can definitely connect you and see if we can find you a house that meets the needs. I mean, I know that we were looking at one of my clients to do a house that would be at around that $350,000 mark, and it would work for them. And no mortgage insurance is a big damn deal. That's a couple $100 a month.
That's huge.
Then the lower interest rate, 1%, makes all the difference in the world. So give me a call at 954-650-0827. And just know that when you're buying a condo, you really want to make sure you're with somebody that knows what the heck they're doing.
The condo thing is crazy because there's so many things that you don't realize because you think, there's no maintenance, I don't have to do all of this.
But there is maintenance.
But there's maintenance, right? And there's things you have to pay and all the things you have to do, but you think condo's covered. Now, all the things with insurance, right? If you buy a condo, you're going to get your renter, so you don't have as much homeowners, but then you've got all these HOA and you've got all these other down payments that you have to take care of. So you really have to put the apples to the apples on what's really a better source for you to be living in.
Correct. Yeah. Again, if you're thinking about buying a condo, even a house, we definitely want to make sure we connect you with that right program.
You ever have anyone that goes to look at a condo and then they move to a house because you lay out all the paperwork and all the monies that you have to put in a condo?
Most people can't go to a house that look at a condo. That's why they go to the condo, because it's usually cheaper. Any last words of wisdom, Rich?
No, give us a call. Let's see if you fit in that program. It's a great program.
All right, sounds great. Thanks so much for calling in. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. And thanks for joining us tonight. Till next week. We'll see you then, and we'll teach you some other ways. 954-650-0827. Give me a call, Laura Sanders, RE/MAX Direct. Don't make a move without me, guys.
Thank you for tuning in for Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. To join the conversation, call us at the studio, 888-994-4995 Studio A, or contact Laura directly at 954-650-0827. Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. We look forward to seeing you next week.